Yeah, all right, let's see if this works. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since I've done a live stream, has it not? All right. Thoughts on the new upcoming Apple CEO, Nicholas Gersman? You think this is my first time, you stupid piece of... LOL. LOL. Nice try, mother... Yeah, you got beat. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? You all having a lovely day. You can, I think it's possible for you to click and see the comment that I deleted. Yeah, you think I'm that stupid. Thoughts on... let's see. What was that? Thoughts on the UAW strike in Michigan. That's kind of a mess. It's so what I find interesting is that a lot of the strikes that seem to be going on seem to be about mostly companies that are producing trucks. And what I find interesting is that if the strike goes on and if they can't come up with a solution to it, Clinty, I'm doing a video. Even the people that don't actually drive trucks are going to get screwed, because if a lot of people in America that drive trucks don't actually need trucks, they drive trucks because of an ego problem. Like, there's a lot of people that drive trucks because they genuinely need to haul stuff from here to here. They do real honest to God work. They build houses, they do plumbing, they they fix sewers and shit. And then there's a lot of people that just have a truck because it's like compensation for something else that they're feeling insecure about. And like, they're just driving something that gets them like 14 miles a gallon for no good reason. And a lot of those people may actually have to buy, like, again, if the supply of trucks goes down, price goes up, which means a lot of the people that are driving it as a fashion statement will buy normal cars or sedans instead of trucks, which means that the cost of normal cars will go up as well. And then since there's less vehicles overall, there'll be a greater demand to fix the one that you have, which means more people that are going to want to fix their own vehicle, which means prices for repairs will go up. So, it's going to ripple through in a lot of ways that I think really suck. I don't see them coming. I understand why they're mad. They're saying, like, for the past 15 years, you guys have made billions and billions of dollars since the financial crisis after your bailout, and our wages have been going down. Like, that completely makes sense. So does the fact that, like, they are going to get hit hard by the whole transition to electric vehicles, where there's going to be less of a need for a lot of those particular jobs. That's kind of a mess. Thoughts on the war? So I watched a 1-hour documentary like a year and a half ago on the Israel versus Palestine thing because I wanted to understand it more. And after I was done with the documentary, I was actually more confused than when I started. So then I watched a 4-hour documentary on it. And after watching the 4-hour documentary, I was more confused than I was before and after I watched the 1-hour one. Don't come to me for that stuff. The only thing I could say is I do remember, like, 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years ago, people would point out, like, usually they'd say, look at this horrible thing Hamas did, and then somebody would say, yeah, but look at the thing that Israel did. And now it's like nobody really, it was always this thing where it's kind of like Hamas is a terrorist organization, but the reason they are is because this. And the level of apologism seems to have gone down a lot since the most recent events, which kind of seems in line with what is makes sense based on what happened. But if you want an opinion on the Middle East conflict, like, please go somewhere else. I do not have the information to, like, intelligently comment on that. It's just not that's not my thing. What do you feel of media bias in reporting for this war? Go to somebody else who does that, man. That's not my thing. It's not even about not liking it. It's just like I'm functionally clueless there. So you're just not going to get a good answer. Let's see. How do you feel about YouTube still not reinstating 3D print general? It's one of those reasons why when people ask, like, why don't you do YouTube for a living, or why don't you take YouTube more serious, that I just never will, because they've demonstrated time and time again there is content that they are literally open to monetize. Like, he clicked the button to get a manual review of his content to see if it was fit for monetization, and then those videos are the videos that wind up getting him deleted from the channel. So it's one thing if YouTube says this is wrong, never do this again. It's another for, like, oh, this is fine. We reviewed this and we think it's fine. And then the next day they are completely okay with just, like, deleting all of his shit. It's just, it's one of the main reasons that I would never in a million years actually, like, try to do this for a living. Again, if money comes in from YouTube, I tell people to use ad block. If people don't listen to me and they use and they watch ads, it's kind of like Apple product repair. Like I tell people, here are my preferences. Here is what I think of Apple product design. If you choose to continue, listen, if everybody listened to me, I'm just going to be up. If everybody listened to me, my business would make nothing. I would have been out of business like 8 years ago because I am very, very clear on this channel of what I think of Apple products. If people don't want to listen to me, then fine. I'll make money off you when it breaks. And I think the same way about YouTube. It's kind of this whole, I tell you to use ad block. I've been very clear with my audience about that. If you choose to do the opposite of that, then fine, I'll make money off of it. But I would never in a million years actually try to do this for a living because they delete people for bullshit reasons. And the reason I call it a bullshit reason is you can disagree on guns or everything else, but if YouTube says this video is fit for monetization, we have reviewed it manually and we see it as fit for monetization. Now, not only is it not fit for monetization, but you need to be deleted for simply having the gall to put it on our platform. It's kind of like dealing with somebody who has borderline personality disorder as your boss. People who do YouTube for a living are dealing with an AI bot that has borderline personality disorder as their boss, and that sucks. Untreated, I should say. I shouldn't even say borderline because a lot of people with borderline personality disorder, they see a therapist and they're functional. An untreated borderline personality disorder. Thoughts on the cologne you sometimes put at the back of your videos. I like it. My receptionist got that for me for my birthday 9 years ago, and it's actually one of my favorites.
Good, I do have the right file.
Do you think the Great Depression was caused by President Herbert Hoover's laissez-faire approach to business and economics? He didn't have a laissez-faire approach to business and economics. Didn't he have he had a giant tariff. There's a bunch of shit that he did that was not even remotely close to laissez-faire economics. I believe the laissez-faire approach to business and economics is let business do its own thing and things will work themselves out. I mean, that was like, I don't remember all of the details because I read this a very, very long time ago. This is like college level history stuff, and I haven't gone to college for like 15 years. But Herbert Hoover was not in any way, shape, or form laissez-faire. Actually, one of the things that's very interesting is a lot of FDR's reforms. I remember I did my entire speech on this for my public speaking class. A lot of FDR's reforms, FDR campaigned on not doing a lot of intervention, and he actually took Herbert Hoover's interventions and went way further with it. And then when like things started to get better, he got credit for it while Herbert Hoover got like smashed for it. But yeah, it wasn't a lot of laissez-faire economics. I would also go to a historian for that, though. I don't remember the exact things. I remember that it was like Smoot-Hawley or something like that. Moot-Hawley, Smoot-Hawley. There was a bunch of things that Herbert Hoover did that were not laissez-faire, but rather like just him sticking his dick in the economy. Thoughts on Israel-Palestine. Already gave that a minute ago. I'm not going to repeat. I have a feeling I'm just going to wind up repeating that all night. So I got to rewind the video 2 minutes and you'll see that. Yeah, go to another channel to find that stuff. I'm sorry. I gave my brief answer on that, and that's all you're going to get. Thoughts on YouTube preventing ad block? I believe that they're doing it because they're losing money, and I think that with a new CEO, they're finally starting to care about it. I saw your most recent video about ad block, and I was wondering why you still choose to use one understanding the damage to YouTube. Use what? What am I using? I don't understand. Do you take any supplements? I think you'd benefit from magnesium. Why would you suggest that I take a supplement without examining me or having a blood sample? That's just, don't do that. If anybody ever tells you you need to ingest this in your body and they have no knowledge of your diet, they have no knowledge of your blood work or anything, please do ignore them. And for fuck's sake, I'm just going to put this here for when it happens later. If this channel ever shills supplements and says you need to take this, you really need to take this. I know I haven't seen your blood work. I know nothing about you. I know nothing about your diet. Take this. Please unsubscribe. And unsubscribe from people who suggest you put things in your body for their own personal benefit that have no idea whether or not it's actually suitable for you. It's just it just sucks. Assuming more car companies copy Tesla's model of making their cars harder or near impossible to fix without taking it to the dealer, that'll make things worse, even in terms of electric vehicles. The thing is, I feel like a lot of companies are moving in that direction. And like, again, if it was one thing where like, if Tesla was against the right to repair bill passing in Massachusetts in 2020, and like they were against it, but Ford and General Motors and Toyota were all for it, we'd be in a different world. But like, it's weird. All the companies that were against that bill were not actually Tesla.
Right file.
What is your purpose, Louis? In the past, I believe my purpose was to solve problems that other people were not willing to solve, help people that otherwise wouldn't have been helped, show people how to fix things that other people weren't showing you how to fix, offer those repairs to people that didn't have any other solution, and try to encourage people to use their brain. For the next half of my life, I'm not really sure. I feel like I kind of lost in the whole right to repair thing, and I'm starting to finally kind of internalize and accept that. And what will be my purpose for the second half of my life? I honestly got no idea, but I'm open to finding it. all these clean cars coming out, you think they're going to get rid of the clean pass in HOV lane?
Good, I do have the right file.
What would you do if people listened to you and you had something to do something you liked for a job? I don't really hate my job. I kind of liked what I did. I say liked and not like because it was more fun when you were able to be more successful at it. It was a lot more fun when like the SSDs and all the computers wouldn't literally like it's one thing when there's like a serious circuit board problem that you have to rework that, that's fun. Motherboards sending 13 volts to people's NAND all day, that's just not fun. Like that's not fun. And then like having a 27-page thread on Mac Rumors where every single person is trying to discredit the crap out of you because they have this hard-on for a company that does not care about them at all. Like that stuff just kind of stopped being fun. I'll be honest with you. But it used to be fun, and it's not that I hated what I did. I wasn't the biggest fan of the way the company whose products I worked on treated their customers. Does free will exist, or is everything deterministic and could be potentially simulated all a game? I think that regardless of whether free will exists, you're better off if you believe that it does exist, because if you believe it doesn't exist, I think you'll be far more sadder while you're in for the ride. How do you feel about strong towns? I've watched a lot of Not Just Bikes' material, and it does resonate with me. And like I get it. I understand what he says, which is if you really want to live in places that embody that, you're going to have to go outside the U.S. And I hear what he's saying. Again, I believe a lot of car infrastructure just fundamentally doesn't scale. And I'm somewhat bike-pilled on the idea that car infrastructure does not scale. How much damage have your cats caused in your shop? Not much. How's business going? Meh. Will you move your speaker out of the bottom of the frame or raise your camera? No, I will not. I did buy speaker stands. If I raise the camera up, it's just going to look awkward. And I'm not going to put the speaker down because then I have to put it back up. I did get speaker stands so that I can put them a little bit behind, because this is not the right listening position. They need to be about 2 feet back for it to be the right listening position. But I made a mistake and I bought garbage from Amazon and it came not working, like most of the garbage that is sold on Amazon nowadays with a bunch of fake reviews to make you think it's actually good when it's not. And I have not made the time to return it and get a new one yet. But I will soon. I've just been lazy. That's why my speakers have been sitting here. As a follow-up to your YouTube video, what are your thoughts on preventing people from using modded versions of the Android app, even with premium subscriptions? I mean, have they actually done that? I mean, like YouTube Revenge seems to be working. Like it just seems to be a cat and mouse game where the old version doesn't work, you update it and it works. What music have you been listening to lately? I have been listening to a lot of, well, I'll tell you. I have had a lot. There's this one song I've been playing over and over again. Like I can't get it out of my head. Tove Lo, Don't Say Goodbye. That's been driving me. There's another one. It's a cover of, what's her name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Nelly Furtado's Say It Right, but by Sunlight Brothers. It's a very creepy sounding cover, but it's awesome. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck wood? As much wood as you see in an Axiom M3 loudspeaker, which is actually no wood because these are vinyl, I believe. It's cheaper. Did you see the questions placed in Matrix? No, put it here. Don't ask me to go somewhere else. I'm streaming. Come on, I'm streaming. Don't make me open new windows. That's so mean. I have this window open already. You want me to go somewhere else? That is so mean. I think if anything, Eli has really shown me is that YouTube can shaft you in an instant if they don't really like you. I agree, but I don't think you need Eli to tell you that. I think that is simply self-evident. Let's see, I don't have any new questions. And yeah, I looked in letters to Louis. I don't see. Okay. Also, when you say question placed in Matrix, there's like 15 different Matrix channels. You got to be more specific than that. Just put it here. Just make life easy. Be one of the people that makes life easy rather than making it harder. Just paste it in the chat. I use AdBlock and Patch mobile app. Here's my thanks for all the content. Thank you very much. That's more than I'm going to make on 6 years of YouTube if you watched every single ad, by the way. And I appreciate all of your work for Right to Repair. Have a good night. Thank you. Yeah, I've looked at the number of subscribers I have. I look at the amount of money that I make a year, and I look at the amount of people who view on average most of my videos. If somebody donated $1, I'm just going to be real. Like, I'm going to make more off of your $1 than I will if you watch my content for like 3 to 5 years. Like, the math is clear when I dig into my analytics that I am way, way better off from literally $1 over a period of 5 years than you wasting your time in ads. So again, to be clear, even if you're not donating shit to me, use an ad blocker. I suggest either Brave browser or a browser like LibreWolf, which is a more schizo version of Firefox with something like uBlock Origin installed. It's going to be excellent. You're not going to see ads anywhere. The amount of money that I'm going to get from you is not worth your time. Like, you wasting an hour of your life over the course of a year is not worth the 30 cents that I'm going to get off of you watching my content. Cat litter preference. I don't remember. I think it's It's an Arm & Hammer one. It's one of the more expensive Arm & Hammer ones, but the expensive Arm & Hammer, not the cheap one. I've tried the cheap one. It sucks. The expensive Arm & Hammer, the one that's very fine, is very much so worth it. YouTube behaves a lot like the ATF. Agreed. How can I super chat without going through YouTube? This should be a Streamlabs link down below, but you don't have to. I'm actually reading the normal unpaid chat as best as I can. Section 230 form that I apply for. Hey, Ryan Labs, how are you? There's going to be a featured video on the channel tomorrow from Ryan Labs. I'm just going to add him as a moderator here. It's an Australian. Love what you do. Right to repair is essential. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brett Cohen. It's very kind of you. Pick up any bad driving habits lately? Yes, but that's not something I'm going to be talking about on camera. Nice ad block you got there. It'd be a shame if it was removed. True. I am behind by 10 minutes in chat, so I am reading the chat from 9:23. It is now 9:32, so I'm about 9 minutes behind, so please don't copy and paste the same shit. And moderators, please time out the people that copy and paste the same shit. I am reading questions in the order that they are received. Hoover did not cause or even really influence the Great Depression. I think a lot of that was the Federal Reserve expanding the money supply like crazy and then contracting it very quickly and then blaming Herbert Hoover. I mean, don't get me wrong. Herbert Hoover wasn't the best. He stuck his dick in the economy in a lot of ways. But like you have the money supply do this, and then you have the money supply do this, and then like people blame the president. It's like just... This is the thing that drives me nuts. Whether it happens in 2023 or it happens in 1923 or 1933, people always blame the president if the president is the only person that has any say over the entire economy. What do you think about closed or proprietary cloud-connected 3D printers with cameras from Chinese companies? They can gargle my balls. Not interested. They can gargle my balls. Many better companies out there. There's one company that contacted me recently that wanted to do a 3D printer interview. Let's see if I can find it. Here's where having a good title for your email will actually do you a lot of good. Let's see, because it'll allow me to find it quickly versus not find it quickly. And thank you, Roshi. I'm behind, so I shouldn't be doing this. I should not be searching through this because I am very, very behind in my chat already. Crap. I know, Clinty, I'm behind. I'm sorry. Prusa Research. Yeah, I would highly suggest checking out Prusa, Prusa Research. They seem like a really cool 3D printer company. Not sponsored by them, haven't been paid. They just seem like cool people. What do you think about the Pixel 8 7-year software support? That's really cool. There's two cool things about the Pixel 8. A, that they're offering 7-year software support. Because many Android phones are functionally useless when it comes to this. You know, a lot of people say, I don't need the latest updates in my phone. I mean, you store your passwords on this. You store your payment information on this. You store your passwords, all of your messages on this, all of your intimate photos, intimate chats. Speaking of intimate chats, I'm busy. Oh, one moment. I have to message somebody. Okay, the 7 years of software support. Again, like LG, horrible. Motorola, garbage. Most of these companies, you're lucky if you get 2 years. Not even 2 years from the time you buy the phone. 2 years from the time that they announce it. But I'm not going to use a phone that has an insecure old operating system on. I'm not doing that. Like back in the day when there was just a couple of text messages, sure. Payment information, business information, personal chats, personal photos, like no way in hell. No way in hell. I want a secure operating system on my phone. And more importantly, they actually are offering a 1 terabyte phone. Now, don't get me, like, it's sad that I'm even saying this as if it's a good thing because like 4 years ago, you could just pop a micro SD card into your phone, you could encrypt it, and it would work. Now, most of the Android phones that allow you to have a micro SD card in them don't allow you to encrypt it. So if you lose the phone, well, like that person can just walk off with all your dick pics. But more importantly, you don't have micro SD card slots in any phone. So like even if you wanted to spend $2,000 on an Android phone, you could not get a 1 terabyte phone. There's like 1 or 2 companies that even bothered manufacturing them. Thank you very much, Brett Cohen. So the fact that the Pixel 8 Pro at least gives you an option for 1 terabyte is one step forward after 5 steps backwards. That's what I'll call it. I'll call it 1 step forward after 5 steps backwards. How are you? Is Cali Pass repair bill going to change anything? I don't know. Apple thinks it's a good bill, which means it probably won't. Yeah. Cocaine or Adderall, which one are you on right now? I am on neither. I got food at Kebabzi Grill on Guadalupe and 29th Street in Austin, which makes me incredibly happy. It's one of my favorite restaurants of all time. All those people that say you're not going to get good food again after leaving New York, they're so full of shit. There's so much amazing food here, and the restaurants don't get destroyed by the local government, so they actually stick around. Net neutrality with FCC ever reversed its destruction? How long before ISPs started exploiting their anti-net neutrality powers? I would be surprised if they weren't doing it already, to be honest with you. I haven't kept up with it very much, but I wouldn't be surprised. In the United States, we're like number one in the world at allowing internet service providers to fuck over customers. One of the number ones in the world. I'm curious as to why we're all looking at you on YouTube. What happened to Twitch, Odyssey, Caffeine, or StreamYard? Nobody uses those. So I have an Odyssey account, and every single day people will say, why don't you post to Odyssey? Louis, you should start an Odyssey account. Why don't you have one? And I have 27,000 subscribers there, but I'll still get that every day. Nobody uses those platforms. Even the people that shill those platforms don't actually use those platforms. They say they do. It's very much so a virtual signaling thing. If there's anything I've learned over the past several years from the 2 views a month I get on Rumble, it's that everybody wants to say that they're the cool people that use the other platforms, but nobody actually does. I think you could make videos and retire if, so YouTube still does this thing that Twitch didn't, where like once you get too far behind enough in the chat, it deletes all the old comments and then you have to scroll back up to find it. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, well, okay. So I missed a bunch of comments. Have you smelled the new Flux? It's delicious. I have not. I'm probably not going to be doing business with Inventec going into the future, and I'll cover why in a future video. Will you talk about chat control? Probably not. Thoughts on the metaverse? I don't give a shit. Neither should you. I got another YouTube creator survey for today. I think Heather is a historian, teaches history. What counts as a historian? Somebody who knows more of it than me, pretty much. That's a low bar to set. The reason I think... John Doe is functionally retarded. Next. Paul Daniels, if you find YouTube unwatchable with adverts, then consider telling your content creators to stop using mid-roll adverts. I mean, you do expect content creators to do things for free. I told a lot of people to use ad block and they didn't, so I actually fill my content with tons of mid-roll ads in the hopes that it will push people to actually use ad block. Because like whether I use 1 mid-roll ad or 20 mid-roll ads, if you have uBlock Origin or if you use Brave Browser, you have no idea. So I've actually gone out of my way to shove as many ads into my videos in the hopes that I can like kind of get people to listen. Let's see. As a follow-up to your YouTube video, what are your thoughts on them preventing Apple from using modded versions of the Android app? I think I answered that one already. Let's see. I answered that one already. Ad blockers hurt creators' income. Again, I think that people should be Twitter X still severely shadow bans with Elon behind the wheel. You think that will change? I have not done a lot of research into this, but from what I see, Twitter has done more censorship, not less censorship, since Elon took the wheel. They've actually been listening to authoritarian governments seemingly more often now. Please do fact check me and do your own research and double check, because like I didn't do a bunch of. I forget exactly where I read that from, but it looks like they have been doing more censoring since he started. Different type of censoring, but still. Are you still working with a lobbyist on past right to repair, or have you moved on? I'm working with several. So in Minnesota, I'm not really anymore because they already passed it. In Colorado, I'm not because like they already passed it. In I'm open to in a few other states. Let's see. I still am in Missouri, even though that's hopeless. I actually have to kind of end that contract because the Missouri farmers' right to repair shit is that we already got that passed in Colorado, and more importantly, Missouri just kind of seems hopeless with it. New York, no, for obvious reasons. I mean, there's still like over $200,000 left in that account. So like my goal, what I was plan on doing is I'm going to keep trying until I empty that account. And here's the way I see it. If I raised about $1 million from all of you, if I'm not able to get it done with $1 million, I'm not fundraising anymore. Like when I get that account I'm going to do everything I can to try to get right to repair passed in as many ways as possible. So like Colorado, we succeeded with farmers. Bam. We succeeded with wheelchairs. Bam. Minnesota, we succeeded with the electronics bill there. Cool. New York, that was a fucking failure for a number of reasons I've already went over. Maryland, failure. Missouri, failure. California, looks like a success, although I did not pay for a lobbyist in that state. If I get that account to 0 and I have not won, the way I see it is that's it. Like if I couldn't move the needle with $1 million, why should you donate anymore? So I still have a few $100,000 left, and I'm going to use that money that I raised the way that I said I'm going to use it, which is hiring lobbyists and also in hiring grassroots advocates to try and continue pushing the ball forward. That is separate from my own personal feelings of, God damn, I've been doing this for like 15 years, and I'm less able to buy shit now than I was when I started. So my own personal black pill depression on the course of the industry and the fact that it is less accessible to people now than it was when I started is separate from Louis, the executive director of a Repair Preservation Group that's overseeing lobbying efforts in numerous different states. As long as there's still money in that account, I am going to use it for lobbying. I have not paid myself a salary from either Repair Preservation Group or Repair Preservation Group Action Fund. I'm going to stick to that. I am not paying myself a dime from it. So whether if I succeed or if I fail, it will be because I suck, not because I either gave up on spending the money or, spent it on a Lamborghini or anything like that. Ad blockers hurt content creators' income. I honestly believe that people should be paying creators and not that like ads should be paying for two reasons. A, as I said, if you give me $1, I've made more off of you from that $1 than I will if you watch my content and watch ads every day for 3 years. Truth. Secondly, the content that rises to the top when it comes to ads is usually shit. The content that you're willing to view and the content you're willing to pay for are very different things. So you could have a video with 1 billion views that's complete garbage, but it's not something that you find valuable, but you may find that it may give you a cheap laugh, but it's not the type of thing that you would actually donate $1 to. And conversely, there may be something that's like, wow, that's actually worth $10. I learned something. This video improved my quality of life. I'm going to take this lesson with me everywhere that I go. But it's 45 minutes long, so it's not going to get that type of viewership. I believe that having an ad-supported model means that the content that is going to grab you emotionally, the content that's going to piss you off, the content that's going to get you that cheap laugh is always going to be the content that rises to the top. There are videos I've done that have made 5 figures that are complete garbage, and then there are videos that I've done where I think I've taught people something that has probably saved millions and millions of dollars of devices that people didn't know how to fix from going into a landfill, and I look at the monetization for that video and it's like $7.50. It's just, I don't think that the ad-supported model is good for creators, but more importantly, I don't even think it's good for you, because the content that rises to the top in an ad-supported model is, in my opinion, garbage. It encourages content that causes us to hate each other as people. It encourages content that just is not good for your brain. So, yeah, do I make money off of ads? Yes. Do I also tell you to install a fucking ad blocker? Yes. I would prefer that people listen to me. Again, in an ideal world, you would listen to what I tell you. However, I'm not a control freak. I realize that I can't control you. If you wish to buy Apple products, after I spend 15 years explaining how they break, how the company will treat you like crap, and why they're just not made well, again, I'm not a control freak. You do you. I'll do me. If you listen to me, my business would literally not exist. But you don't listen to me. With that, again, I tell you to use AdBlock. If you choose to not listen to me and spend 5 seconds of your time to install uBlock Origin, I'm not going to feel bad monetizing it. I told you what to do if you don't want to see the ads. How's the programming going? I have not been streaming it as much recently because I've been busy. However, I have been continuing to upload to GitHub. So it's a real Rossmann group on GitHub, and I've been uploading all the C stuff. I did go to the I did have to respond to an IRS audit, and I actually took a detour to learn MySQL for that. So this was actually a really fun one. I'm going to wait till my audit is over to go over it. But I was actually able to show so with New York State, I had a 0.1% error rate. My current thoughts on Graphene OS are that if you have not pissed off the creator, it's an amazing operating system to use. And if you've pissed off the creator of it, you may want to think twice about using the operating system. So again, if you're a normal person, by all means, it's a great secure operating system. If you're a person that has not pissed off the creator of it, you should use it. It looks like it's more secure than stock Android. It looks like it's more secure than every other distribution. If you're somebody that the primary developer and programmer of it thinks is trying to kill them, then you might want to not run it on your phone. Those are my thoughts. So anyway, where was it? Programming. So with New York State, I had a 0.1% error rate. Like they thought I had a 50% error rate. I had a 0.1% rate. And I was just thinking about that, why did I let that go? I didn't have to let that go. If I wanted, I could have probably kept digging until I had a 0% error rate. Everybody's going to quit Reddit. People are not very good with protests. They're not good with boycotts and protests. I agree with you. So one of the things what was I saying? Yeah, so what I'm going for in this one is a 0% error rate. And I like said, yeah, I have hundreds of thousands of transactions, and I'm going to show you that I have literally 0% error rate. So I spent 2 weeks going like really deep diving into MySQL, and then I managed to respond to my audit in a manner that I think is going to give me 0%. I'm going to do a video on that when it's done. Is the Louis says something about a current event and someone shows up to his store to complain about his stream? I'm confused. Are you still having to deal with the whole issue with New York City putting an unjust lien on your company? I honestly don't even care anymore. Why do you talk so fast? Because I am reading chat that was posted at 9:27 p.m. Thank you very much, Andrew James, even though it's 9:47 p.m. So even though I'm talking very, very fast, like an auctioneer that's on cocaine or Adderall, I am still 20 minutes behind in my own personal chat. Many people say that I only read the comments that are paid, but I actually try to read every single comment. I literally read everything in this chat. However, YouTube is a garbage platform compared to something like Twitch that has better chat, but I don't use because it bans people like Destiny for ridiculous reasons. So I still use YouTube. But the problem is that I can't scroll back in the chat after I scroll down a certain amount. So I'm going to miss out on probably a 5 or a 10-minute block of people's comments, which I really don't want to do if I don't read them as fast as humanly possible. Thanks to resorting for personal insults tells me a lot about your character. Oh, gargle my balls. You're a fucking moron. How about preventative maintenance? We should put filters on all Macs. Huh? I don't get it. Why do you still use an ad blocker even though it hurts YouTube? Is it just for convenience? Well, I actually did used to pay for YouTube Premium. I was willing to pay because, again, I did a lot of videos in this platform that I really like, and I figured I spend a decent amount of time on YouTube. It actually provides me the value of $10 a month. Dare I say it, YouTube provided me with $20 a month of value. The reason I stopped is because I usually have 2 phones. More to that fund, it's influencing more than just America. It's got repercussions everywhere. As they say in OZ, go, send, go. Thank you very much, Brett Cohen. That's very kind of you. So the problem that I was having is that I actually had 2 phones. I had one for streaming video and one for playing music in my car, and the one that was playing music in my car was offline. I downloaded something, I think it was like a podcast or some shit, and I had that phone in my drawer. It was my secondary phone that I used for listening to stuff, not for streaming my drive, and I was going on a very long road trip. It was a road trip that was going to be like 27 hours, and I go to play it, and it says, you must connect to the internet to play this, and I'm like, bitch, I downloaded this. Wait, so you're saying that if I had used NewPipe and I had actually just downloaded the file and pirated it, that I would be fine, but because I decided to pay you fuckers $10 a month for 7 years, I now have to stop and park somewhere, enable hotspot on my other Android device, and connect this one to the internet so I can listen to what I downloaded. Bruh, get the fuck out of here. And I never paid for YouTube again after that. There's something that really bothers me about when I actually decide to not be a pirate and pay the full price that you asked for, and you treat me even worse than I would be if I did the thing that was criminal. Do you feel the removal of the downvote display count makes the necessity of an ad blocker that much greater? I don't see the two as meshing. I do see it as YouTube being out of touch with their base and out of touch with what viewers actually want. How many people asked for the downvote counter to be removed? How many people think that YouTube is a better platform and you can actually see the like to dislike rate of a video? How many people here are more likely to fact check what they see in a video when they see it as a 50% dislike rate? What do you think about the Free Software Foundation and GNU? I think it exists. And I think that you should be calling it GNU Linux, not Linux. And they do some good work. But I don't know. I don't have any particular opinions. I'm sorry. Do you think there'll ever be a FOSS car? Probably like 50 or 100 years from now, maybe. Louis, have you smelt the new batch of Amtech? I have not. If you're going to make a living off YouTube ad money, you are delusional. I wouldn't say delusional. There are some people that make 20 times what I make on this platform, and but they're much better at this than I am. I was wondering your opinions of LTT since they have been back to work making their content better since you were #1 comment on Gamers Nexus video and their shortcomings lately. I don't really have much of an opinion on that. Linux thoughts, please. It's an operating system. Everything in Amazon is garbage. A lot more, not all of it, but a lot more than you think. Thanks for the Fudo non-Google speech text app. Awesome. Can you give more restaurant recommendations in Austin? There's a steakhouse. I forget if it's SK or SP. It's actually in Lakeway. It's not in Austin. And there's Kebabzi Grill on Guadalupe and 29th Street. That place is fucking amazing. It's like some of the best. That's some of the best Mediterranean food I've had in my life. Get the combination platter, the chicken hero and lamb hero platter. It's just so good, with rice and a side of baba ganoush. Have you and your girlfriend done anything fun lately? Yes. Can I ask you a question? No. Louis is using a Pixel, not a Fairphone. Interesting. This was free. This cost nothing. Also, I don't know, at least these people are being honest about fucking me. This is honest about the fact that they're fucking you over. Whereas the Fairphone is saying the reason that we are not giving you a headphone jack is because we care about, sustainability or something. They actually said that they want to make their device more sustainable, which is why it doesn't have a headphone jack. Fuck off. Reddit is unique because it's the only place to find real human opinions on topics. That used to not be the case, man. Like, you used to have online web forums for a number of different things that were not Reddit. Anybody remember when the internet was just a collection of a bunch of random forums that were started by people that were enthusiasts about that particular topic, that were not run by insane asshole mods, that were run by the type of people that you'd actually want to get a drink with? Please launch Windows repairs. No biz left with Macs. No. There's way too many different models. Most people expect repairs to be done in 2 to 3 days, and if they're not done in 2 to 3 days, they get very, very angry, which means that I have to stock every part that I need, and I also need to have everything. Like, I need my schematics, I need my chipsets, I need my diagrams, I need my spare parts, I need my test parts. I can't buy all of that for a computer I'm going to see once every, 36 months, and it's not very viable given the customer expectations that I have. Will Fudo voice input be receiving regular updates? Yes. What do you think about closed for private? Oh, I already answered that one. Let's see. Why are there certain repair facilities that do not void warranties? No repair facility should be voiding your warranty. If they are voiding your warranty, it's very likely the manufacturer of the product you use is breaking the law, and they know it, and they should be reported to the FTC. Unfortunately, the FTC is probably not going to do anything about it. Suppose that you like something as a hobby that also happens to be something that you can do as a job. Is that a job or is it a hobby? It's both. Does someone like you have a resume that is always updated? You just update the resume or CSV when you need. Funny you ask. I actually do have a resume. I had a challenge with my girlfriend recently because she had asked me. I said, look, the reason I started a company, what was the first motivation, is because I couldn't get a job. Like nobody hired 19-year-old me, and I was very curious if that was still the case. So I wanted to actually go prove that this was still the case. I paid a resume coach $700. This is a bet that went way too fucking far. Thank you very much, Ann. Hope everything's going well with you in Tennessee. This is a bet that went way too stupidly far. And I wound up paying $700 for a resume coach just to prove my point that I was still unhireable. Like, I have all these for all these very, very competitive search terms, #1 on Google, raised $2 million instead of 2 months for a nonprofit that didn't exist yet, got laws passed, get a million subscribers on YouTube, all this shit. I was literally applying for jobs that paid $55,000 a year, like basic marketing shit and all these basic management and all this other stuff. And almost every single one was sending me automated rejection emails saying I did not meet their educational requirements. It was hysterical. So the first thing is you should always update your resume. You should not have one resume. You should have a resume for every single job that you apply for. Again, unless you're me. If you're me, it's not going to do you shit. If you're me, good luck. But if you're a normal person that actually has the ability to go out into the world and get a job like a normal human being that doesn't have to create their own little schizo world and schizo company and everything else because nobody will hire them, you should have a resume that is specifically tailored to that job. So here is what they want you to do. Here's why I'm the best person to do the thing that you want. It should say in bold at the top, whatever it is they're looking for, this is why I'm good at it. These are the accomplishments. You really should be tailoring it to exactly what it is they do and exactly what their pain points and problems are. And one of the things you could also do is you could actually talk to them prior to sending in a resume and ask them about that field. So let's say they're hiring somebody for paid search. You could call them and go, okay, one of the things that I noticed, I see this is why you want to do paid search, but have you noticed that your organic results are absolute garbage and you may be paying $1 million a year in AdWords when you don't even have to. You may only need $20,000 of consulting and normal organic search results. You may actually learn a lot of stuff that would make you insanely more likely to be hired. To be clear, again, I'm being kind of a hypocrite here because I'm fundamentally unhireable, but I don't think you should have one resume. I would stand by that advice. I think you should have a resume for the specific ad. If you're one of those people that says, I applied to 1,000 jobs and you have 1 or 2 resumes and none of them got back to you, that's why. When your resume should be very, very hyper tailored to the job that you are applying for. It should say very obviously in the beginning why you are the best for that job, and the only way to write something like that is for it to be hyper specific. Anybody who is copying and pasting comments is getting timed out. I am 23 minutes behind the chat. Do not copy and paste and spam. Hopefully mods can see that. That's thoughts on Linux. It's an operating system. What is your opinion of free software? It's great. Let's see. What is your take on fractional reserve lending? I can't answer that in the amount of time that I have to answer all these questions. Can we really ask you anything? Maybe. Apple is a repair-friendly company. Not really. What is the point in Google locking ad block if you just block the pop-up message and still use YouTube? I still think that there's a lot of people at YouTube that are that are kind of dragging their feet and maliciously complying with the bosses and the higher-ups that are saying you need to make it harder for people to use ad block. I think what they're doing is, this is just a theory of mine, is they're putting out stuff that's really, really bad. So they're like, okay, we'll defeat ad block in the most transparently, easy way to get around it as humanly possible, and we'll be really slow in rolling it out, so that I can tell my boss, look, I did what you asked, but without actually doing it. I do think that there are still some good people that work at Google. What are your thoughts on John siding with Apple and saying Apple should leave the EU because the EU is deregulating innovations? I honestly don't know much about John Prosser, so I couldn't really answer that. It would require a lot of searching and researching, and I'm 24 minutes behind on chat, so I can't do that at the moment. I want to refresh on why some businesses have specific repair facilities that do not void warranties, because I believe you discussed this one. Again, what I've discussed is the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, and the whole concept of like it's void because you repaired it is just bullshit. You know, if I repair a device and you say, instead of repairing the device with a screwdriver, you repaired the device with water and you poured water on the device. And because you poured water on the device, your warranty is void. Look at all the water you got in it while you were working on it and look at all this green corrosion. You're allowed to void a warranty for that. What you can't do is you can't say, this was opened by somebody else, therefore the warranty is void. The burden of proof is and always has been on the manufacturer to point out specifically what it is that you or the repair center did that voided the warranty, and it cannot be they opened it. That's bullshit that the manufacturers came up with because we lack good consumer protection law in America. No operating system is secure. Oh, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. If you're using an operating system that has been patched and is up to date today, it is likely more secure than an unupdated, unpatched 5-year-old version of that same operating system. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be here's a basic rule that's true 99% of the time. Here's an exception. Like, yes, there's always an exception. We know. There's always an exception. Yes. Good for you. What is your favorite Dota 2 hero? Razor. I am up to the comments from 9:37. I'm behind by about 20 minutes, though. You all do it. Hate Apple in the streets, but rely on iPhone in the sheets. Okay, that's funny. I gave my resume to ChatGPT and told it to rewrite it using as many ATS words as possible. My request to apply almost tenfolded. I actually tried that before going for the resume coach route, and it does not work. That does not actually work. At least for me. Again, it may work very differently for you because you probably have like hireable traits. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So everything from 1037 to 1046 is gone because YouTube's chat window sucks. I'm sorry. If you typed in something in the chat from 937 to 946, it is unfortunately gone. I'm sorry. I tried to read things as fast as I can before it disappeared, and I fell off the treadmill. Will you ever stop being a business owner? Maybe. I don't know. Once I reach the ends of the road, at some point, Rossmann Repair will reach the ends of the road. You know, many of the services that my business was founded upon are now just functionally no longer doable. It's only because we evolved into doing other things that my business even still exists. And at some point, the things that I evolved into doing will no longer exist, and this business will end. And I will move on to something else. Nothing lasts forever, you know. I guess some things can last. There are some businesses that last like 200 or 400 years, but for the most part, like most small businesses don't last forever. I will eventually move on and do something else. That time will come. Let's see. Imagine you have your, excuse me. I have to, excuse me. Since you recently shared your love of a certain singer from Nightwish, what's your favorite metal band? I don't know. I like Alice in Chains, but that's more grunge than metal. Alice in Chains is awesome. Especially Jar of Flies, but that's not really metal. Should I believe my ex, who abused me for nearly 2 years and left 3 months ago over a fabricated scandal, when she says she wants to change, but she'll only change if we reunite? No. Get a therapist and no. Everybody needs good therapy sometimes. It's not an insult. Like, people think I'm insulting when I say that. Lots of people need a fucking therapist. Yeah, see a therapist, and I would avoid that person as much as possible. What application are you using now? Are you just using the normal YouTube app? I'm using Brave browser. Why no Twitch and you can upgrade from koi pond streams to bathtub streams? You know what? I'll actually give you guys let's see if I can get this to load on the screen. I may. You know what? I might just give you guys a treat. Let's see if this works. Actually, okay, they're not swimming by the camera right now, so never mind. All right, I was going to give you a treat. I was going to show you the koi. My camera got water damage. My underwater camera is still good. My above water camera got destroyed by a rainstorm. You have to be connected to the internet every 30 days to keep access to downloaded videos. This was not 30 days, though. This was like 3 or 4 days. That's what pissed me off about it. It wasn't 30 days. It was shorter than that. But let's say it was 30 days, right? Let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say it was 30 days. Why am I going to pay you $10 a month to get a worse experience than I would get from being a pirate? I could be a pirate and get a good experience. I could pay you and be treated like a toddler. I don't like that. Like, if piracy is going to give me a better experience, I'll be a pirate. I would rather pay you. I like paying for the value that people provide me. But if you're going to give me a shitter experience when I want to pay you and do things right, then when I pirate, I'm not doing that. I'm going to feel like a simp, and I can't do it. I was given a Surface Pro 6 and it can't handle Windows 11, so I want to put Linux on. How do you feel about these devices? Extreme lack of support for it. I don't use a Surface, and I don't really see a compelling reason to use a Surface, I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use a Surface if it does everything you need. If there's a device that does everything you need, then you should not listen to some random blowhard on the internet that tells you that he doesn't see a need for it. You should use what makes sense for you. I just don't see a particular need for the Surface, so I don't use it. I still remember when YouTube had a star rating system. That was a long time ago. Why? Also, if you use GNU Linux, why don't you say GIF correctly? Why don't you jet out of my stream? Jet the fuck out of here. Looking for side program projects. Anything you wish the open source community would build? What I wish they would build is, I wish they would hack the Tempur-Pedic, since you asked, I wish they would hack the Tempur-Pedic Ergo base and give it all the functionality of the Ergo Pro Smart mattress base. Since you asked. Do you regret buying a Tesla? I regret buying a car, honestly. I was able to go most of my life without ever owning a car. Like, if I could go back, I probably would have got a motorcycle. You wouldn't download a car. How do you feel about turning the pond into an almost self-sustaining ecosystem? No need to clean or add food. It can be a very fulfilling full-time hobby. I don't feel great about it because I have a lot of other crap to do with my life. I still have a business, a YouTube channel, a full-time job, and a nonprofit. So I don't have the time for that. The only reason I even have a pond is I inherited it. Like, it came with where I live. Like, I'm not going to tell the fish you have to find a new home, you know? But like, I'm not going out of my way to do all that shit yet either. I will protect them though. I protect my fishy. I kind of outsourced it to a fox. The fox does not eat the fish. The fox does eat things that try to eat the fish, though. I can come over and help you eat all the overpopulated koi fish. They are not overpopulated, Sonny. They're very happy. Also, hope you're doing very well for yourself, Sonny. Any favorite movie you recommend? 25th Hour with Ed Norton. I like that movie. What are your thoughts on T-Mobile plan change? I didn't know about it. $700 for a resume coach. Yes. I stick to my bets. It was a bet that went a little too far. It's a long story. $700 for a coach, expensive. Expensive is all in the eye of the beholder. It means you win a bet. Let's see. I'm dying for a Louis Repair Board video. Nobody watches that. His Mac Wiki saved my air. I replaced the ribbon cable with the trackpad and the Wi-Fi started working. Awesome. I didn't even remember putting that in there. Louis, I'm lazy. I don't want to tailor a resume for every job. Then be unemployed. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. This is the thing. This is what I used to tell people that wanted to, like, they would say, I want to get into technology. If you're doing something, if you're like putting 4 hours a day into it, and there's somebody else out there that like puts their entire livelihood into it, they're always going to win. They're always going to be way ahead of you. If you want to copy and paste the same resume to every fucking job you apply for, and there's somebody else out there that's actually crazy enough to write a very specific resume, actually speak to the company beforehand, do an informational interview where they actually go to the company, speak to employees, speak to managers, and learn about all their problems before they apply and before they interview for a job, before they submit a resume, they're always going to win. You don't want to tailor a resume for every job? That's fine. If you don't want to win, that's fine. There's somebody else out there that does want to win, and they're going to do it. I assure you, somebody else out there will do it even if you don't want to, and they'll have better results. Have you consumed some red pill contents? For egg, people will buy iPhones because women like iPhones, hence it's easier to get your foot in them. What the fuck? Okay, I've never heard of this shit. There's a lot of stuff that I've heard of when it comes to the red pill community. I have never in a million years ever heard I am getting an iPhone because getting an iPhone increases my chances with women. That's just fucking insane to me. And if that's where we are, I would rather like go back in time, go back to being a virgin and remain that way until my death than live in a world where the reason I'm having sex is because of the model phone that I have. I can live with the idea that I am more successful with women after becoming a successful business owner, after becoming successful at my craft, after being well-renowned at what I do, than I was when I was 19 years old and sitting in the fucking park in cheap sweatpants that had a hole in them, fixing people's MacBooks in the rain. Like, yes, I can live with the fact that I am more successful now. No, I don't know assembly. There's no way in hell I'm accepting a world where I have to have a certain model phone, and if I don't, like, I don't believe that's true. And even if that is true, that's not, I don't want to live anymore. No, I can't. No way. I refuse to believe that. I got asked, what is that microphone? This is a Blueberry. It's about $1,000. I got one dirt cheap. It was like $150 or $200 because it wasn't working and it was rattling and everything, and it didn't come with everything that it was supposed to. But it was a gamble, but it was fixable after opening it a little bit, and it works very well. Thanks for being able to take my mind off all the tragedy my family is facing. Thank you for being a light in this warfare. Ah, crap. You're affected by that stuff over there. I'm so sorry, man. I am so sorry. I hope you guys get out of it as soon as humanly possible. My heart goes out to you. Is it even possible to stop ad block on PC? I watched your video in the gaming industry, and I want to know, are your views in the gaming industry still the same after releasing? Releasing what? What are your thoughts on today's climate? Releasing what? I don't know what that means. What color are you? Oh, blue? Light aqua. I give it aqua. I don't understand that question. Has your opinion on carrots changed at all? The only time I'll ever accept a carrot is from my PBX administrator. That's the only person that can carrot me. I know you dislike HP because of their anti-consumer practices, and I totally agree that it's shit, but mechanically their printers are some of the best I feel. I work to install these printers. Well, I agree to disagree. I like my brother. The day will come when brother follows in the footsteps of everybody else, and when that does happen, I will be very, very sad, but I like my brother printer.
Good, I do have the right file.
Surprised to hear that you bought a Tesla. Most privacy invasive and unrepairable vehicle in the world. Always thought you'd buy a Toyota. The company that spent $6 million coming out with advertisements in Massachusetts that were aired on television for 6 months straight, calling independent repairman people rapists, actually. I got it right. Yeah, Toyota put $5 million into advertisements that called independent repair people rapists, racists. It said that we supported redlining. It said that we supported sexual assault. They said that we supported rape. Like, listen, there's this idea that in the marketplace that there is a car company that's not a cunt. And no, like, look at the people that funded those ads. I did a 45-minute video going over this entire thing. I'm surprised that people are still surprised, to be honest with you. Like, I don't like the company. I don't like virtually every major automaker. I'm kind of excited to see what Aptera does, but even that, it's kind of smart car-ish looking. I don't know how viable that's going to be for people that want a full sedan type of car. The reason that I rode an electric bike for as long as I did is because the auto industry is filled with people that I really fucking don't want to give money to. But yeah. Let's see. I have something like a 2-year-old video on this, but yeah, like, it's really different. Like, there's no company that I'm gonna. Here we go. I'll paste it in the chat. There's really no automaker that I look at and go, man, I feel good to give these people money. Like Ford Mach-E called repair people racists and rapists. Chevy, General Motors did the same thing. Honda did the same thing. Nissan did the same thing. Toyota did the same thing. It's like, There's my protest for the longest period of time is I'm just not buying a fucking car. Romance without finance is a nuisance. Oh. Also, buying one that was already used so that you're not getting buying one that's already used so you're not getting the benefit of me like buying a car that's new is also like makes it slightly better for me. But yeah, like it's like if I go into like a Ford dealership and I plop like $30,000 for a car or a Toyota, like I'm gonna feel like a simp. I'm still gonna feel like a simp buying a used car. I'm still gonna feel like a simp buying one from a garbage brand like that. But like there's no car where I walk. There's no framework of cars, I should say. There's no company where like I'm really excited to give you money. Now did the resume coach go? I don't know where they're going right now. What's it like living in Trump world after so many years in New York City? Austin is not Trump world. Austin is not even close to Trump world. There are people here who voted for Trump, and they can say that they voted for Trump without being chased down the street and flogged and beaten. But this is like Austin is not Trump world. It's not even close. Like there are parts of Texas that are. It's just Austin is not it. Alice in Chains is definitely more grunge. Alice in Chains rules. They really do. Alice in Chains is awesome. Do you support UAW efforts? I have. When you look at their salary over time, I honestly don't know how that's going to work. Because like you have so many companies that, you have more companies that are not unionized that are going to be making a lot of these electric vehicles into the future. And a lot of the cars that the companies are making, a lot of those factories that are striking are making cars that are not sustainable to begin with. But when you look at the salary of the people that were actually making these cars over the past 30 years, and I don't fucking blame them at all. Like if I was one of those people, I would 110% be striking. By all means. Like best of luck, you know. Maybe them striking isn't the worst thing in the world. Like maybe they'll get better pay and people in the U.S. will realize, you know, maybe everybody doesn't need a fucking F-350 diesel to do their grocery shopping. Like I have no problem with you having an F-350 diesel if you're like doing like, you know, sewer maintenance and shit, like you're hauling stuff around. You know how many people get a Ford F-350 diesel just because they have like a pencil penis and they believe that when they go to Randall's, when they go to H-E-B, if they're not loading their 2 bags of groceries into their you know Duramax 3500, that they're just not a man. Would you like to get our book about Apple and the evolution of personal computers as a gift? I'd love to know how you liked it. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes people send me books and they literally just go in the recycling. Like people will send me books that they authored and I'll just look at it like, when I get mail and I get something that's 2 or 3 pages long, it's already kind of like a fuck. You know, I have all this mail to read through and this is like 2 or 3 pages. When somebody sends me a 300-page book, I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. I just put it in recycling. Like I can't. I'm too busy. I'm never gonna read the book. I'm just being honest. I don't want to lie and like bullshit you and have you waste postage on it. Literally everyone would benefit from therapy. They find the lies we tell ourselves. Yes. Thoughts on whether Fudo would hire remote workers from abroad for visa reasons? I don't know. It depends on what you do, and it depends on whether we're hiring. It depends on whether we think that. Yeah, I mean, the first question is, will we hire you to begin with before will we hire remote people? And the second is, do we have a job opening for you? Why are there chat timestamps in the YouTube app? I don't know. I have YouTube chat timestamps in my chat app over here. Hello, how do I cope with being a turbo manlet? It is something that has seriously affected my self-confidence. I would say therapy and accomplishing things. Yeah, a combination of therapy and accomplishing things. I don't think that one without the other will work. Alice in Chains broke my heart. They had one good song that showed how good they could have been, and Lane Staley's heroin habit turned the entire band to shit. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Don't do heroin. Could Framework make a phone of some type? I don't know. Are there any tips that you give personally to somebody getting into their parents' tree in this day and age? Focus on what other people are not doing. Don't just think like somebody else is successful at this, so I'm going to try to do the same thing without asking yourself the honest question of, is this an oversaturated market? If you're doing something that everybody else is fucking up that there's a lot of demand for, by all means, run for it. If you're like getting into this saying, you know, like I'm going to replace iPhone screens and that's going to be my business plan, because this other company that started doing it 15 years ago is doing it and is successful, don't assume that just because somebody is successful that they're not riding the coattails of prior success. Is a bad therapist good or worse than no therapist? I would say yes for only one reason. If you have a bad therapist, you can at least practice getting your thoughts out. Like you can practice writing a journal about everything in the week that you did where you're like, why did I do this? Or this is messed up. I probably shouldn't have done this. Or I feel bad about having done this. I feel shame about having done this. Even if the therapist is garbage, just you getting the thoughts out, just you literally getting that stuff out of your brain is 50. That's like 75% of the work. 75% of the work of going to therapy is you learning how to be honest with yourself and learning how to look at the things that you did from a different light and going, man, I really shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that. I don't know the history or the basis for me doing this or me having this pattern. I want to figure that out. I want to make sure I don't do it into the future, but you have to notice that stuff as you do it. So like the process of journaling your thoughts, journaling what you're doing, recognizing when you've done something that you probably should talk about with your therapist, that's like 75% of it. And also actually going to one and just not believing that you are worth helping is a big part of the work, because most people are going to say that's a waste of money. Why would I spend $200 a month on improving my mental health for the very limited life that I have on planet Earth? Like, a lot of people have such a fucked up mindset that they actually believe a few $100s a year after insurance, or dare I say, if you don't have insurance, okay, even if you don't have insurance, like $2,000 or $4,000 a year is not worth it for people that already make six figures that could have a much better, healthier mindset on life because of the money. Overcoming that bullshit that people tell themselves because they're afraid of actually facing their fears or facing what they're afraid to deal with is a big part of therapy. Like with the therapist is only going to be doing like 15 to 25% of the work. Most of it is done by you. So even if you have a bad therapist, you still have to prepare for the process of therapy and be open to the process of therapy and be open to the process that there are things about you that may actually be beneficial to change. And you can do that even with a bad therapist. Didn't know about Toyota Aver. It's crazy. What's your thought that Apple offsets their lack of repairability by actually having devices that keep value and last for years physically and receive software updates, especially for phones? Okay, last for years physically, disagree with you there. Updates for phones, I will 100% say that Apple deserves all of the goodwill that they get from their customers for actually offering iOS updates for older devices. Android manufacturers, whether it's Motorola, LG, any of these fucks that release a phone and then 2 years from their release date just never update it again, so that, again, I would not feel comfortable installing a password manager, payment, anything onto a device that's connecting to the fucking internet that's not getting updates anymore for years and years. It's like you wouldn't put a password manager and all of your personal data on a Windows XP computer and connect it to the internet, right? So why would you use a phone that has not been updated since 2014? Like, it just blows my mind that people don't understand that this is the exact same concept. This is just a smaller version of your desktop PC computer with all the same security flaws. iOS, yeah, Apple does a really good thing there when it comes to software updates, and I think that Android manufacturers should try to mimic that. What Google is trying to do with the Pixel 8 Pro and having 7 years of software updates, if they stick to it, I think is a damn good thing. And Apple is an industry leader there, and they are setting a good example. I could say something good about Apple when they deserve it. Apparently, Louis had a paid account for $1,000 a year, no ads for viewers. They made it $10,000 a year. Yeah, that for Vimeo. But to be fair to Vimeo, that's because I was asking for more storage. I released a lot of videos that year. I wish that a better FOSS video editor was a thing. Yeah, there's Caden Live. That's not a good editor. Therapy does not work. Get in the gym and start lifting heavy stuff. If you have issues, then lifting weights is not going to solve it. No, don't listen to this guy's advice. It's just going to fuck you up. It's mostly cope. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to the gym, nor am I saying that you shouldn't try to focus on your physical fitness, but it's a false dichotomy that you can only do one or the other. You can very easily go to the gym, focus on your physical fitness, go running, go swimming, do all these things, and simultaneously take 30 to 45 minutes out of your time every single week to try and sort your brain out. It is possible to do both, and that's just, I don't know, it's just false guru bullshit. Therapy works just fine. That's mostly cope for people that don't want to put in the effort or don't want to be open to being vulnerable to figuring out that there may be things about themselves that are worth learning and worth getting over. Starting in 2021, with working from home sales, exiting COVID, Framework could have extended their market and quality in a healthy way if they allowed local resellers to evangelize and support FW Laptops ecosystem, WDYT. I don't fucking know. What do you mean by working from home sale? Could have extended their marketing quality in a healthy way if they allowed local resellers to evangelize and support. What does that mean? What does evangelize and support mean? I think that they probably had a limit to how many they were even able to manufacture, which was probably limiting their sales. And I'm going to take a wild guess that local resellers had nothing to do with it. It was, in order to be able to sell this many, we need to make this many. But in order to make this many, we need more money so that we can make more. And who is going to give us more money while the economy is going to shit when we're a new company in an oversaturated field? Again, to be clear, I speak with Narav like once a year, the CEO of Framework. He's a really nice guy, but it's not like I understand their finances. But if I were to guess what it was that was causing it, I'm going to take a wild guess that it was not lack of local reseller support so much as it was we just need money to even like survive and stay above water. Well, the setting to cap the battery at 80% charge on the iPhone 15 actually increased the longevity of the battery. If it does what it's supposed to, 100% it will. Samsung used to have a setting like that on their phones to cap battery charging to 85%. I have no idea why modern Android phones do not have that. It 100% will increase the longevity of your battery. When you charge your phone up to 100% and you keep it there, not just keep it there, but you actually keep it on the charger overnight. Like if you keep your phone charged to 100%, and it's literally just sitting there on the charger the entire time, staying at 100% for 8 or 9 or 15 hours, that is going to eat away at the longevity of your battery. If you want to keep the phone for a longer period of time, then not charging it up all the way is definitely a part of the way to do that. What is one way of embracing the ability to do as a software engineer? I don't understand what that means. Koi fish are lucky according to Japanese lore, especially if you have more of them. I want to do border pair videos, but too attached to my optics. What do you mean, Ryan Labs? Why would you have bad optics if you did border pair videos? Will you introduce your girlfriend in video? Fuck no! Are you kidding? The last time I did that, you guys fucking stalked her for 1.5 years. No way. Hell no. Not even, no. I ain't doing that shit again. Having trouble learning DaVinci Resolve. Any suggestions? What are the problems? I'm not doing an OnlyFans for right to repair. If I were to do an OnlyFans, I'd probably like bait people and then just have it be a bunch of pictures of Oreo. I've thought about making just like an OnlyFans and like implying it's me, but then just having a bunch of pictures of Oreo. I don't know. I use B to cut, A to switch back to normal, cut into normal drag and drop, and T to drag and drop but move everything else with it. So like B, A, and T. You learn how to use B, A, and T as your shortcut keys in DaVinci Resolve, and it'll be a lot easier to edit. Also, sorry for answering your question 15 minutes late. I'm way too far behind. I'm reading messages from 10:07 right now, and it is 10:23, so I'm behind by a bit. Girls will literally left swipe if they see Android in your profile photo. Sad but true. They want to see the blue text bubble when you text them. Okay. The people that can confirm this are probably not in this chat, but like when I give a woman my number, I tell them like use Signal to contact me. Like don't SMS me. If they like literally the first thing, if I get an SMS from a woman that firstly, I don't ask for their number. I give them mine. Don't ask a woman for their number. You give them yours. This is the first test. Again, like, are you actually, if I've shown interest in you and I have provided you with a quality conversation and I've demonstrated that I'm interested in you, are you willing to reciprocate by like sending me a message back after I give you my information? That's number one. If you're not willing to do that, you're not worth my fucking time. Secondly, after you have done that, I am not talking to you on SMS. I don't use SMS. I use Signal. Here is a link to download Signal. You have my number. You know what to do. I'm not dealing with this green versus blue text bubble bullshit. Fuck all of that noise. Signal. So after that, if that goes well, you're 95% of your way to marriage at that point, pretty much. At that point, like 95 to 99% chance that you're going to get married and it's going to last a very long time. But that's usually what I would do. Yeah, like again, like this whole like SMS versus iCloud, like nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're using Signal or we're not getting past the first date. Would you like to get our book on the history of Apple? I don't want a book. I'm sorry. I do have books that I read in my spare time. I just don't read books from the audience because I get so much shit in the mail already, and I have like 300 unread emails on a regular basis as is. You like VTubers? I don't know what that is.
Good, I do have the right file.
Your large trucks are called utes here, colloquially known as uteruses. What? It's always overcompensation. On the other bit, talk, guys, talk. Okay. That I don't understand, but thank you very much for the ass. We need a bigger truck for our work. Hauling tons of stone is not something a little thing can do. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're doing that, by all means, get yourself a Ford F650 diesel. Get yourself a giant Duramax. What's weird to me are the people that like, your truck should not look cleaner than my car. Is that fair? Like, your truck should not be cleaner than my crappy-ass little sedan that I, like, use to get to work and back every day. Your truck should be dirty. Real trucks that people use for real work are dirty. Not disgusting, but like, you know, like there's some scratches on it. You could tell that they've done some shit with it. If the bed of your truck is cleaner than the interior of my car, you probably shouldn't have that truck. If the bed of your truck, if the exterior bed of your truck on the inside of it is like when you look inside the bed on the outside of the truck, not like, you know, the back seat of it or something, the back seats or something like that, is cleaner than the interior of my car, then you're probably not using the truck the way it's supposed to be used. Trucks are for people that do shit, you know, like build shit, fix shit. They're not for like, it's not for like, look at how my vehicle is. It just feels like a waste. I can't help but think of that when I was reading up on the United Auto Workers strikes. Like, okay, what if they all strike? What if far fewer cars? What if far fewer large trucks start being produced? We might actually have to ration trucks to people that need them for their job, and not people that are just using them because they have a small wee-wee or something. If I get a therapist, should it be my gender? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. Have you taken a look at aircraft industry for reference? Heavily regulated to the ground, but parts, specs, or replacement parts are mandatory since repairs have to be signed off on. I have not. I never click on live streams, and out the gate I get Toyota called right to repair proponents, rapists, and racists. Please can you elaborate on that? $5 for you reliving my ignorance. Sure. Give me one moment. One second. Here we go. So this is an old video. I'm going to ping you right now, Grim. Here you go. This is for you. It's like, actually, let me see. How long was this video? It looks like this is only like 5 minutes long. Yeah, that video is only 5 minutes long, so it should be a quick watch for you. How do you select a good therapist? Same way you find good employees. You know, you try them, you find that you pay money, you figure out that they suck, and then you move on to somebody else. New York is an example of a dumb person, and now he's gone. John Doe is an example of a dumber person, and now he's gone. See, if you create arguments, I'm okay with it. But if you're just like, if you're like the type of passive aggressive bitch that just talks out the side of their mouth without an argument, that's just lame. It's highly lame. Like, create an argument. Create an argument. Have something to back up what you say. Don't just have it be like passive-aggressive salt with nothing else next to it. It's just lame. It's the kind of shit that you know you get punched in the face for in real life. It's just, like, to do that, like, just don't do that on the internet. It's highly, highly lame. You pointed out LG for not updating their device, but in their last device, the LG Wing, which was released 3 years ago, is still up to date. I'm mostly referring to stuff like I was very disappointed in how long the updates were and stuff like the V60. Or the G7, devices like that. Was very, very disappointed in. Like, you're not getting 7 years of updates in something like the V60 or the G7. Once you upgrade, it's difficult, if not possible, to go back. Kden Live can do basic editing quite well. Kden Live sucks. You can't even use audio plugins on that shit. It is 2023. 2023, you cannot use basic ass audio plugins on that. You have to take your audio after you're done editing your video and process it in a fucking audio editing software because you can only use the plugins that come with the program. You can't even use Linux VSTs. You can't even use Linux native audio plugins in Kden Live. Again, I don't want it to be like that. I would love for Kden Live to be better, but Lily never donated, but decided to donate to tell you that VTubers are YouTubers that don't use their face. Rather, they use a virtual avatar. Most of them use anime avatar. Oh. Okay. Okay, I know what that's about. Yeah, okay. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. When will you admit the Trojan ring is actually yours? When somebody buys it. Blackmagic DaVinci can be had for free. You can get it for free, but I paid $300 for it. The software was actually so good, and I appreciated the Linux support that they had for it so much, considering the garbage state of Linux of Linux video editing, that I gave them $300 for it. It's really good. Opinion on banning adblock. Gave that about 5 times in the beginning of the video. Are you an MLG pro gamer? I don't speak acronym. If you get a 5150, let's see. Thank you very much, Levy. I appreciate it very much. They do, after Android 12, I think all Androids have it, at least all Samsungs. Have what? Huh? I know the Pixel doesn't seem to have it. It's really lame. Any phone that has a glued-in battery that charges to 100% is kind of lame. Let's see. Just joined, so could catch you live. Let's see. Thank you, Santiago. Sony's Xperia has HS power control. Why with the acronyms? Use words. I don't want to buy a used one wheel. No thanks. I don't want that death machine. DaVinci Resolve requires dedicated GPU in Linux. True. That is true. That's why I have to do my video editing in Windows on my framework. The fact that his X is still in the top search results for Louis Rossmann is insane. Yeah, people like to stalk. They're weird. If a woman is going to be turned off by a green text bubble, she is not worth your time. 100% true. It's good you're a Steely Dan fan. I'm surprised to see the Walter Becker tribute video. I am a Steely Dan fan, thank you very much. And I did make a Walter Becker tribute video.
Good, I do have the right file.
I hold Right to Repair dear to my heart, and your work is influencing the other side of the planet. Good book to read is Evolutionary Psychology. David Buss. Therapy does not work because being sick makes their business run. What? I don't think that... This is the second misconception about therapy. People think that you have to be sick in order to go to therapy, and that at some point you will stop going to therapy, like once you're better. I'm like, okay, when I was out of shape, I went to the gym, right? Like at one point, I got up to 190 pounds, and I managed to lose weight to 162. Right now, I'm 149 pounds. So I lost another 13 pounds after that. Do I not go to the gym anymore? Of course not. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week for weightlifting, and I do my cardio outside the gym in the form of either swimming or jogging. Depends on what you use your phone for. Again, if you use your phone for like some basic ass SMS and websites that you don't log into and just phone calls, then who gives a shit? Or just watching YouTube videos, again, who cares? If you have a password manager on there, if you have your credit card information on there, if you have your business software on there, for fuck's sake, don't use a phone that's not getting updates. The way I describe this to my customers is don't do anything on a phone that's not getting updates that you would not feel comfortable doing on a Windows XP computer. Would I feel comfortable watching YouTube videos in Windows XP computer? Yes. Would I feel comfortable going to /.org and reading articles in Windows XP computer? Yes. Am I installing a password manager or logging into websites in a Windows XP computer? Hell no. You may think that that's a little extreme, given that Windows XP has not gotten updates in a far longer time than the average Android phone you're asking about, but I use a more extreme example just to give people the idea. Do you honestly think she is going to download an application to talk to you? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think they will. If they're interested, yes. Now, if somebody's not open to checking out an application called Signal to talk to them, it means that I have not really done a good job in inspiring interest in them anyway. And if I haven't done my job, then what place do I have even trying to get a date with you? You know, I'm not trying to get dates with I don't walk up to random women at clubs and bars and just say like, "Hey, my name's Louis. Like, want to fuck?" Like that's not how any of this works. There's like a process of back and forth before I start dating somebody. Like, I want to know that you're actually worth the time. I want to know that you're interesting. I want to know that you have a halfway decent value system. But before we've even gone on the first date, there's a lot of evaluating that has already occurred. But more importantly, I hope I hope that I've actually built some interest in the person that I'm talking to. If I have built so little interest in the person that I am talking to that they are going to stop talking to me because I say, hey, this is the way I talk to people. Grab this application that has multiple millions of users that does not spy on you, then like I didn't do my job. I wasn't interesting. I was like, if I'm not interesting enough for you for that, then what am I even doing with you? Like I shouldn't even be asking you out. I should not be asking a woman out, in my opinion, if I've done so little to raise your interest in me as a person, to entertain you, to make you laugh, to make you think, to make you excited, that you're not willing to download a fucking open source application that takes 9 seconds that is used by millions of users. Do I think they're going to download an app to talk to me? If they're interested in me, yes, they are. If they're not interested in me, they won't. But guess what? If they're not interested in me, why the fuck am I taking you to dinner? Why am I putting time and effort into you if you're not interested in me? Makes no damn sense. Makes absolutely no sense. What are your thoughts on Signal dropping SMS support? I never understood why Signal had SMS support to begin with. It makes no sense. I use my SMS app for SMS. I use Signal for Signal. I don't want my Signal app to have SMS in it. I don't want my Signal app to have SMS for the same reason that I don't want Google Hangouts to have SMS, for the same reason that I don't want Matrix to have SMS, for the same reason I don't want Discord to have SMS. Like, I don't want that integration. I want my SMS app for SMS. I want my Discord app for Discord, my Matrix app for Matrix, Signal app for Signal, and so on and so forth. I don't want one app to and if I do have an SMS app that also does that, I don't want it to combine the fucking chats together. That's just a mess. I think that I would name the kitten Garfield. Bogart? Name it Garfield. Or Nermal. I don't know. I'm not good at naming schemes. Is it possible the goal of YouTube is not direct profit, but trend manipulation and structure and behavior? No, not really. I just think that Google the people that say that, Google is trying to control the world and control people think and change the narrative and all that. Is that true, or is it just a tech company where people are on average more liberal than you? Or again, and when you look at Google, when you look at the overarching way that Google's done business over the years, do you think that do you think that this is some evil? Do you think that this is some concocted plan to control the population? Or do you think that Google just buys businesses and then runs them into the ground? Google's done this many, many times. Google has purchased or entered many marketplaces, completely fucked it up, and then just left. Google Plus. Hey, they fucked up domain names. How do you fuck up domain names as a multi-trillion-dollar company? I do not at the moment, Servo. I'm sorry. And it makes me very, very sad to see that more and more devices have completely locked bootloaders, more now than before. But what was I saying? Okay, I completely lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry. I fell off the treadmill. I tried to not fall off the treadmill, but I just fell off the treadmill. I was on a rant there, and I feel like I was on a good rant there, but I fell off the treadmill trying to answer too many things at once and talking too fast. If she's not willing to join your encrypted pirate ham repeater, she's not worth it. True. My friend owns a retail repair business like mine, but he struggles with personal interaction because he's on the spectrum. It turned him to negative reviews. Any advice on what I can do to help? Oh, I am going to get in some deep shit for that one because you're not going to like my answer. Okay, as somebody who has actually been diagnosed as on the spectrum by a proper psychiatrist in the past, I would say the first thing you have to do is stop identifying in that way and using that and saying I'm going to have a hard time with customers because I am X. If anything, I find that people that are actually on the spectrum that are really, really good at their work tend to be exceptional at socializing at work. It's usually the opposite. They are exceptional at socializing with their customers because they are in their area of domain expertise. They own that area. It's usually when they leave it that they're screwed. They go to a party and they have no idea how to talk to people. They are on a date. They have no idea how to talk to the date. They're with friends. They have no idea what they're supposed to say. But in their domain of expertise, they often you can be severely on the spectrum and still manage to engage with the world and get along with people. So I would just challenge this idea that you're trying to because I am on the spectrum, I now have a reason why I can suck at this. It's an explanation as to why it's harder for you, but that doesn't mean that it has to be the case. Like, I personally believe, do you do employee performance reviews? Not really. I usually I give people, if people are not, I usually will give people raises as the company does better if they're doing well. If the company is not doing well and they're doing well, I'll have them in the office and say, you deserve to get paid more than you do. I suck as a business owner. I'm sorry. I can't afford to pay you more. If you find a job that is capable of paying you more, I will make sure to give you the best references humanly possible. And if there's any way I could help you with your own personal affairs or your own pursuit of another job by using any of my contacts, my recommendations, the YouTube paying, any of that should help you out, please do let me know. Or if the company's doing well and and I notice that somebody's doing well at their job, I will give them a raise, but I don't do the thing where it's like, okay, it's been 4 weeks, let's look at your KPIs. It's just never been that kind of company. You can kind of tell when somebody's doing a good job and when somebody's kind of, in order to do that, I would have to create these weird metrics like how many repairs per day. But then if I do that, how do I know you're not half-assing them? Or how many repairs do you have that returned? But if I do that, well, who's picking the harder repairs? Because then that means that the person who's picking the harder repairs is going to have a higher rate of things that come back because they're picking the repairs that nobody else wants to do. So it's very difficult to come up with these KPIs that you use in order to evaluate people in my industry. You can, but I don't think it's ever going to be as good as having it as like kind of having some hands-on, reading through the tickets yourself. Again, like I know that probably sounds lazy or like a way to cheat, just not having a extensive data system to track all these things. But I really do believe that if there are some jobs where that works, and there are some jobs where if you try to implement a system like that, you're going to encourage people to do the wrong thing. I don't want to encourage somebody to only grab the easy repairs, nor do I want to encourage somebody to try and move through shit as quickly as possible because they think that is what's necessary to move ahead. I want people to. I want to observe the entirety of it. And I don't have a very easy way of judging that with like, okay, here's 5 numbers in front of me every 8 weeks, and every 8 weeks your pay will go up based on these 5 numbers. I don't do that type of thing, but I do try to keep track of how people are doing. I appreciate your thoughts on the resume question. I know what you said is right. I just struggle to find motivation to tailor every resume when you just want a job in your area. Okay, what does the just word mean though? You want a job in your area. When you said just, I noticed that when people use the word just, they're often using it to make it okay to not put effort in or not do something. It's like, I don't understand why this is so expensive. It just needs a BGA reball. Yeah, it's going to take me like 2 fucking hours. Are you kidding me? Like anytime somebody uses the word just, it's to try and remove something. Like when they use just in the repair world, it's, man, I don't know why you're charging $50. It's just a fuse. Yeah, because I have to fix it. Or when you say, I just want a job. Okay, you want a job, so why not write a resume that is tailored to the job that you're looking for? You're saying it as if getting a job in your area is different from getting a job in another part of the country. If I'm reading your resume, I'm going to, if your resume sucks and has nothing to do with this particular job, it's going to suck just as bad regardless of whether the address is Austin, Texas or Georgia. I don't really care where you're from. I care whether the resume is actually good in that sense. Whether your resume is good or bad really doesn't have much to do with your physical proximity to the job. It has to do with how good it is. So I would knock the word just off of there. Where is Mr. Clinton? Probably tearing up my mattress. Thoughts on the New York City migrant situation? I don't really have any, to be honest. Finding a good therapist is hard. There's no one therapist for everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's like finding an employee. It's like finding a really good manager. You're gonna go through a lot before you find one that's good. I mean, that's part of the process, and you have to be okay with accepting it. Try repair.wiki. IXITHE legend. There's so much pickup truck hate. I get the hate for poorly lifted pavement queen, but shut up about my stock F-150 uses a truck sometimes. I mean, the thing is, a lot of like, it's not about even just that. It's just like these sheer, A, they wind up being less safe to the person driving it and a lot of the people on the road. B, it just wastes a lot of space. C, it's, if you need to use it, if you're going to use that shit to build, repair, for what they're made for, buy 3. Use as much gas as you want. I don't care. It's just like people that buy that shit to like pick up, 2 bags of groceries that have a cleaner bed than the inside of my car. It's just, I roll my eyes at that. Do you think LastPass is safe to use now? I would suggest Bitwarden over LastPass if you were looking at that type of password manager. Please read the whole question this time. No, I already answered that in the beginning of the video. Also, that's not really a question. Opinion on banning AdBlock with Pi-hole 2 and are now experimenting with less but longer or shorter ads in the smart TV app and multiple... That's a run-on sentence. That's not a question. But I like the spirit of your question was answered in the beginning of the video. But in terms of it actually being a question, that's not really a question. That's a run-on sentence. Kind of a confusing run-on sentence. Oh, okay. Now I remember the rant that I was on when I lost my track of it. Yeah, so when people say that, well, YouTube as a business, they keep it around because it makes it easier for them to control the population. That's why they do it even if they don't make money. I mean, Google keeps a lot of businesses around that they neglect for a long periods of time. Like Google Plus, giant failure. Like they fucked up with domain names. How do you fuck up domain names? How do you figure out how to not make money off of domain names? Somehow Google managed to mess up just basic ass domain names. Google has abandoned so many things over the years that they have not put the proper level of investment into. Google can F up a wet dream, truly. So yeah, I believe that it's very possible that they do the same with YouTube because that's what they've done with everything else. I don't believe that, the simplest explanation is usually the best one. Are Google using YouTube as mind control, or is Google just a company that has a lot of money coming in from their advertising business that uses that money to fund a bunch of these stupid-ass other projects that they're not really good at, that they wind up giving up on after a few years? I think you're right about people being on the spectrum, being able to communicate well with others when it's in their field. However, there are some that truly struggle with human interaction in general. Get a therapist. I don't know what they want. I don't know what that person will want from me. Get a therapist. Okay. Some things are going to be harder for you than they are for other people. That's life. We all start off in different places in different areas. There are some people that can do things that I find to be incredibly difficult, and they were born with the ability to do it very easily. Conversely, there are some people that look at something like the MEM-VTT enable circuit on an 820-2936 and can stare at that for 45 minutes and have no idea what the hell it does, and I understand how it works inside of 20 seconds. Some people are going to be really good at things off the bat. Some people are going to have to do a lot of work to be good at those things. That's life. And you can either complain about it or you can accept it and put the work into trying to get better at it. And here's the thing. You may not be as good at somebody who was naturally born with the ability to be good at it. You may never, if you put in work for your entire life, be good as somebody else who was just born with that ability. But there's one thing I can guarantee you. If you put in work and you put in effort, you will be better off at that, whatever that is, that one thing is that you're bad at, than if you do nothing at all. Okay, let's say they're really, really bad at human interaction. Doesn't mean you can't get better. And you don't have to be as good as everybody else. You don't have to be as good as, the varsity football coach or whatever. You have to be better than you were yesterday. See, I would see a therapist. Read some books. See a therapist. There are a lot of books out there on how to deal with other people in a manner that will make them feel comfortable. There are a lot of therapists out there that are useful at giving people advice on small ways to view the world and small ways to interact that may make other people feel more comfortable. And you can either choose to do that work or not. There's one saying, and I forget who said this. It's on the tip of my tongue. But like you can either pay up front or you can pay every single day for the rest of your life. It's much cheaper to pay up front. Like a lot of people don't want to do this type of work. They don't want to do the self-development work. They don't want to do the work to learn a skill. They don't want to do the work to better themselves. They don't want to do the work to get over their childhood trauma. They don't want to do the work to become better human beings. You can either admit it up front or you can either pay up front, like, man, I'm behind where other people are. This is going to be really fucking embarrassing. I'm 20 years old and I didn't learn how to do this stuff when I was 6. I didn't learn how to socialize when I was 6. I got to learn at 20. That's really fucking embarrassing to admit how far behind other people I am. Or to say, you know what, I'm 45 years old. Man, I really should have went to college. I should have learned this stuff when I was 18 years old. I'm 45 and I'm going to be sitting in a classroom with kids that are 18. That's embarrassing. But here's the thing. If you don't do it, well, again, the best time to learn that may have been when you were 18 years old. The second best time to learn it is now. And if you don't learn it now, then you have to live every single day of the rest of your miserable life knowing that you're not doing anything to get better. So instead of paying up front and dealing with it, well, you're going to pay every single day. And it's more, just like buying a house, just like buying something with a high interest rate, just like getting a payday loan. It costs more money. It costs more time. It costs more aggravation to pay every day for the rest of your life than it does to pay up front. And it's not fair. Guess what? It's even less fair for you to not do anything about it and pay it every single day for the rest of your life. Pay it up front. It's always cheaper. Take it from somebody that never wanted to pay up front and that paid a lot later in life. It's always cheaper to pay up front. Is server cost eating up YouTube costs? I don't believe YouTube ads can't cover hosting. YouTube is just greedy. I mean, listen, you can believe whatever you want. There are 3 things that are true here. A, publicly traded companies have a responsibility to their shareholders to make as much money as possible. B, the management at Google are filled up to the gills with Google and with Alphabet shares. So they will make more money if the company has a higher stock price. C, they have not reported a net profit for YouTube ever. Forget about the responsibility that they have to shareholders. Forget about the responsibility that they have to be honest, because let's be real. Most modern CEOs of these companies are sociopathic pieces of shit that only care about themselves. Let's think about what does matter. Their selfish self-interest. They would be far richer because the stock would be far more valuable if they could say, here's a product line that we just added that makes us billions of dollars in net profit. If your own net worth would go up by millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars based on you telling the truth, why would you not tell that truth? Unless maybe it wasn't true all along. As a publicly traded company, you have no incentive structure to hide when something is making you insane amounts of money. There is a reason that in their 10Ks and their 10Qs that they never say, here is how much net profit we are making. People can believe whatever they want, but it's not rational to believe that. Because it's not rational to believe that all of these greedy fucks are going out of their way to hide something that would increase the value of a company, that would increase their own net worths in a very greedy industry. Are you still depressed about right to repair? For my entire day, no. But if I put time into thinking about it, yeah, it does. It can be very depressing. There's only so long you can keep failing at the same thing before it gets like really, really depressing. I am behind in chat by 11 minutes. I'm a big supporter of government in general, given your political leanings. Do you think a pure free market solution is possible? Just saying right to repair for customers. Only if you get rid of a lot of patent, copyright, trademark, and everything else, and that's not going to happen. I think you'd have to undo a lot of other stuff in order for that to occur. Tell us your opinion on Gaza. I already did that at the beginning of the video. Can't answer that question every 90 seconds. Hi, how to not show ads. I'm Linux user, have Brave browser. Well, there you go. You already did it. Thoughts on Agville in Colorado? I have an entire video on that, I believe. I have like 2 or 4 videos on that, actually. Just communicates a disconnect in expectations and actual capability. In this case, tailoring resumes may far more emotionally demanding than one would expect. I don't know. Use ChatGPT or something. Use ChatGPT. Here's what I would do. Use ChatGPT and then ask it after you tell it to do that to make it sound less robotic. And then take the paragraph that it gives you and write it in your own words. I'm not even asking you to write the whole thing. Just put in a little bit of work. Have password managers. Huh. Don't want to have a question, just want to express appreciation for you and your vids. I've generally felt a lot of motivation to get back in electronics repair. That's awesome. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Riddle me this, Rossmann, whose name starts with an L and ends with 2 N's. Thank you. Google Plus felt like a fever dream. True. Thank you, Tails. Thank you very much. Best wet cat food brands. I like Halo. Reveal if you're like absolutely at the top and you're willing to supplement with other food that has the stuff that's missing. Do you have any feedback from Mouser? Not really. They're a pretty good website. Seem like an amazing business. Random war question. A1708, touchpad and trackpad, a keyboard sometimes they don't. Will it be a pain to fix? Probably. Anything that's intermittent usually sucks if it's not obvious water damage. Intermittent issues like that always suck if they're not obvious water damage. Thoughts on FAA now requiring drones flown beyond line of sight to have ADS-B transponders? Will companies use compliance as an excuse to limit repair? I think they would limit repair regardless, to be honest with you. But yeah, I've done an entire video on the drone thing. That's a mess. I have an entire video I did a few months back doing a deep dive into the drone thing, and I was not for that. You know, the criminals are just going to rip that shit off. The people who really want to be criminals are just going to rip that stuff right off of the drone, in my opinion. Do you have any feedback from Mouser? No, please don't copy and paste things. I'm already behind enough in chat without people copying and pasting shit. Thanks for covering my WF1000 XM4. By the way, they said the tools don't work on the EU version. I bought a refurbished US version also. No fix so far. Oh, listen, I'm not saying that you should do what my mother did in that video, because the lifetime warranty that she used to use is immoral. It's very immoral. You should not do that. That's what I'm saying. Do not do that. That is immoral. Poor Sony. Do you have an opinion on CEO of Unity leaving the company after absolutely crashing the ship? I haven't kept track of that. Do you see the iFixit story in the Ag self-repair bill being introduced in Colorado? I have not. Isn't right to repair your entire life? No, it is not. I have other parts of my life outside of the 20 minutes of my day each day that you see on YouTube. There's all there 23 hours and 40 minutes. Are you still going to shoot a heron for threatening to eat your fish? Would you shoot a stray cat that was threatening your fish? If the answers are different, why? Firstly, I was not going to shoot the heron for threatening to eat my fish. That was what dumbasses in my chat thought, because the IQ in your average YouTube comment section is usually below room temperature. So firstly, from the stuff I showed you of my koi pond, the area that you would have to be in order to actually eat the fish is right by a fence that's paper thin, that's between my yard and my neighbor's yard where children play. I am not going to shoot something where if I miss, the bullet is then going to go into my neighbor's yard and potentially kill one of his kids. That would be retarded. I would chase the heron. I would grab a broom. I would yell at the heron. And in this case, I didn't have to do either, because the fox that very soon I'm going to introduce you to the fox. His name is Foxy. He actually, he's eaten a possum, he's eaten a skunk, and he ate the heron. So the fox in this case ate the heron. But no, I don't shoot into I don't shoot into my yard. That would be really fucking stupid. I would shoot into my yard if we were talking about something like a like a person is carrying a knife or a gun and they are trying to break into my house, then we may talk about what's appropriate there. But yeah, I'm not gonna like potentially kill my fucking neighbor's kids over that. If somebody thinks that, that's just fucking dumb. I would chase him. I would take my hose. I would spray him with hose. I would smash him with a broom. Definitely would have no guilt smashing him with a broom if you're trying to eat my fish. I'm not going to take out a gun for a bird that weighs like 3 pounds. Even if I did, let's hypothetically say, let's say I didn't miss. And then, there's a chance of missing. Those birds can be fast. What are the, there's a good chance that bullet just goes like right through the bird and then goes into my neighbor's yard and kills one of his kids. That's just dumb. I don't know. I think people jump to conclusions, and I think people enjoy jumping to conclusions when something is obviously a joke. But more importantly, they take not only do they jump to conclusions, but they take the worst possible interpretation of it and then run with it as if it's fact. And it's something that I think people do when they're shitty people that don't have enough else to do with their life. Do you expect YouTube to change fundamentally in 5 years? Do I expect them to change fundamentally in 5 years? I expect them to be more profit-driven. I think that as time goes on, I think YouTube is going to care a lot less about people that complain. And I think it actually makes sense for them. I'm not, to be clear, continue using AdBlock. But if I were YouTube, I would look at it like this. These people utilize resources. They do not pay us by viewing an ad. They do not pay us with money. Why do I care if I piss this person off? Like if there was somebody who is saying how bad my company is, how horrible it is, I can't believe they do this, that, and the other, I don't like him, and they have said up front, I am never going to pay this person. And I'm not interested in their criticism as much as I'm interested in the criticism of people that actually have a good faith chance of utilizing our services and paying for those services if we offer services that are to their liking. A lot of the people that use AdBlock have just been honest, I'm never going to pay for this. I would never pay for this under any circumstances, and I understand why they don't care about that particular group of people. You probably asked this before, but do you use Linux? Yes. And if yes, why is KDE Plasma better than every other desktop environment? It is not. It's buggy, it's slow, it's aggravating, and it's annoying. And I try to remove it off of every computer it's on. I like XFCE a lot better than I do KDE. It's just sometimes it's annoying with sleep on certain laptops where when you wake the device back up, it'll be completely frozen. There are some fixes for it, but it's just kind of annoying when you have to dig in and try to troubleshoot stuff like that really should work out of the box in 2023, but that's Linux for you. But I still use it. I like XFCE. Aside from right to repair, what are 4 things lets you change in the U.S. to work towards a society you want? I think people being less shitty to each other. I would say people not being shitty to each other for no good reason. There's a rant I have on the live channel about that. It's my most recent or second to most recent live channel video. What are your opinions on Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce? I don't know who that is. Who's Travis Kelce? I don't know who that is. Never heard of him. How much donation to eat an iPhone? Not doing that. These questions are far too specific. I want an opinion about anything. Huh? What is the real reason you're live? I don't know. I used to do this regularly. I haven't done it in a few months. So many of you need, there has to be a crazy schizo reason for everything. It's not that Google just takes over random businesses and then runs them poorly and then gets rid of them. It has to be, they want to control the population and that's why they use YouTube but then run it into the ground. Or it could just be that Google's really good at buying shit using their surplus of ad revenue money and then just running those random businesses into the ground like their domain business, like every other thing that they've tried to get involved in, like Google Glass or anything else. I'm happy you found Mouser. I remember recommending them to you years ago. A perfect resource. I've been using Mouser since 2007, 2008-ish days. I've been using Mouser since before I even had this company. I was not clear you were joking. I love wildlife. Yeah, maybe I was a little mean. Maybe set a motion sensor to a sprinkler system. I honestly have not had time to do all this crazy stuff. I was not prepared to adopt 500 koi fish when I got this place. I was not prepared to adopt 500 koi fish when I bought a house. They were all there, and I don't want to stress them out by moving them all someplace else. I beefed up the filter. I changed the UV bulbs in it. I do my regular filter maintenance. I check the water every single day. I do my basic little water changes. Every time I run, I backwash the filter. I add water at the same time and make sure it's all dechlorinated before it goes in. But I I just haven't had the time to go hardcore on the fish pond thing. If I launched my own ad-free video platform, would you upload videos to it? I probably would not, because the lesson I've learned from using Odyssey, Rumble, and VidMe is that everybody talks about it, but it's mostly a virtue signal. They don't actually want to use other platforms. And at the end of the day, people go where people are. Nobody wants to be everybody wants to be where the party is. Nobody wants to be in the isolated room that has two people in it. They want to be where the party is. And unless everybody decides to go to a new room all at the same time, I think that YouTube is going to be on top for a very long period, until they decide that they don't want to lose money anymore. What brought you into the world of repair? I have a 1-hour video going over that. How did I start? The answer to everything. I don't know how to put that here. When you have billions of dollars in liquid cash, spending $200 to $300 million in pet projects is nothing. True. Okay, I'm getting close to be out of here. Are you still learning C? Yes, I am. I had to take a detour from MySQL for an audit for work, and I was not. So for like 1 or 2 weeks, I was focused on that. I will make a video on how I used MySQL to really, really like vastly improve my ability to answer questions with a 0% error rate in an audit. You know what? It's actually worth shilling. So this was free. I didn't pay for their real program. I used the free one. They actually had a really cool one. So this website, this is some data engineering bootcamp shit. To be clear, I don't get paid by them. I have never given them money. I'm not shilling it as somebody who's like trying to like affiliate link you to anything. I just linked to it. It's this learn.wecloudData.com thing. They have a free MySQL program. I did the free MySQL program because I wanted to do a bunch of shit with my POS system. I had stuff from my POS system that I wanted to reconcile to 2 separate QuickBooks reports, and I wanted to be able to do it in a very, very detailed way. So I had to grab all this shit from these very, very fucked up CSV files that came out of my POS system, and even more fucked up CSV files that came out of QuickBooks, and then like compare shit and then move it to someplace else and count everything and demonstrate that even though these reports look different, the overall amount that I reported to the IRS is identical to what is in my POS system. Even though the 2 income accounts you're looking at don't line up, that's because my employees accidentally used the wrong item code for these items and they ended up in other income accounts. However, this was all income that was accounted for. You could see it over here, and I can point out transaction by transaction, invoice number by invoice number, down to the decimal point that I reported every single thing in my taxes. This was actually very useful. It was just go to look. It's probably not the best MySQL tutorial, and obviously they're using this to try and pimp their like $13,000 fucking data engineering course that I'm never gonna fucking take. But I did find it very useful. They have a lot of really good exercises, and it was incredibly helpful. Like if that. They've earned me saying something nice about them if I wind up saving money in a fucking audit because of their MySQL tutorial. And thank you very much, JP. I'm actually going to, I'll send you the document with all my stuff. I'm going to send you the document just so you can see what I did later. Then your staff or yourself have IPC certification. I do not have IPC certification because it's mostly irrelevant to my customers. As long as they do a good job and as long as they're not burning shit or like spending, an extra 10 seconds on every single joint, burning out all the flux and burning the IC, then I'm good. There are some good things that you learn from IPC. Like you do learn some good stuff, like don't go over the joint 8 effing times because you want it to look perfect at the expense of actually damaging the chip itself by putting it through too many thermal cycles. There are some good things you learn from it, but I'd rather just get this across to my employees during my own tutoring process than spend thousands of dollars in certifications that I don't care about and that my customers don't care about either. I have not gotten into growing my own food. I have a job, 2 companies, and 2 nonprofits. I don't have time for that. I honestly don't even have time to stream anymore, but I kind of miss it. I haven't done it for a while. Stop being so organized with data tracking, learning MySQL so you can feed auditors. I mean, I really should have learned. I'm 34 years old. I'm going to be 35 in a month. Like, not, having as little knowledge in MySQL as I have is honestly kind of like stupid and embarrassing. So it was about time I learned it anyway. The only time I ever used MySQL in the past is to like, something goes wrong with my Magento store. So I open, or something goes wrong with a Zen 4.0 forum. So I open PHP MyAdmin and I have to change a 0 to a 1 somewhere or some shit like that, or delete a table. But I've never had to do like really advanced joins and stuff like that, and really advanced filtering and all that kind of crap. So like it was worthwhile to learn that just so that I have that like basic skill set. I really do think at this point in time, like that's going to like stuff like that is important for basic computer literacy. And there's really no excuse to not have that level of basic computer literacy in 2023. So, was behind, but was very behind, but it was very, very fulfilling to actually get it to that point. And again, that's the thing. Like I had a 0.1% error rate with my New York audit, and I had to pay out that 0.1%. And I'm just thinking to myself, like I was writing my resume and thinking, this actually happened during the resume bet that I made with somebody that I was not going to be able to get a job in spite of whatever accomplishments I put on a resume. And I'm writing this down thinking like, got audited for 2 years by New York State and came out with a 0.1% error rate. That's actually on my fucking resume under accounting prowess. What if I could say 0? What if I could say that I got audited for 2 years again and my error rate was 0.0%? No, fuck that. I'm going to put in the work to do that. So I put my C programming shit, I put all the C programming stuff I'm learning on hold. I spent 2 weeks diving into that WeCloud Data MySQL course, which by the way, again, is exceptional. I'll look at learn.weclouddata.com. To be clear, they have not paid me any money to sponsor them. I have not given them any money for their services. They have a free MySQL course. The free MySQL course was exceptional. Yes, you do if you own a company, the same way that you do in every other country in the world, Pito, where you are expected to pay taxes. Every country expects that you report the income that your company makes and the different ways you make income and the different expenses that you have. This is, I find it hilarious that people in other countries are so economically illiterate that they don't even realize that it's part of their own tax code. But I digress. I found it very fun to go through, take that break, and learn MySQL for that reason. And now I'm going back to the other C programming stuff. Anyway, that was fun. I'm going to get out of here because it is getting late. It is 11:13. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours now. It's been fun. I should do this more often. I'm sorry that I have not put as much time into my YouTube channel as I used to and just kind of interacting with you all as I used to. This is kind of fun. I did miss this, and yeah, I'll try to do this more often. I'm sorry for kind of neglecting the channel over the past 2 months. I feel like I've kind of neglected this YouTube channel over the past 2 months. I haven't really felt like doing videos on a regular basis, and since this is not really the way that I make a living, if I don't feel like doing videos, I just don't do them. But that's, Can you link the SQL course? Sure. It was learn.weclouddata.com, and again, it's the free one. I didn't. They have some crazy ass data engineering programs and data science shit that that was way outside the fucking scope of what I needed for a basic ass audit. So the basic free MySQL one, I really do think that they did a great job with it. I think they did an amazing job with that course. And, at first I was watching it saying, the audio could be better. Like one of the slides had an error on it. But at the end of the day, like I went through all that stuff and I just fucking blazed through my audit, and it was fun. It was cool. Like taking that skill and using it immediately to demonstrate that I run a business where I know what the fuck I'm doing, and like you're not going to catch me on a basic ass technicality. Like if I'm in the right, I'm in the right, and I will not be pushed around. It just felt good. It felt good. Really did. Hope everybody gets to feel that feeling someday. Actually, I take that back. I hope you guys never get audited. The people that I care about, I hope you never get audited or have to go through this. Because this is the whole idea. If you've done nothing wrong, why do you care about getting audited? Because to prove that you did nothing wrong, you may have to spend 2 weeks of your life learning MySQL and creating this fucking ridiculous database table schema bullshit and learning left joins and inner joins and outer joins and all this other horseshit so that you can merging crap so that you can get it to work. Anyway, see you later. That's it for today. And as always, hope you learned something. Is there a way to contact you? I'd love to be able to talk to you. No. Don't worry about it. You don't want to talk to me. Just trust me. You're better off not talking to me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.